The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present Tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcast, the best show about Tokusatsu we've probably never heard of, and here we are. That's Jay.
If there were two guys on the moon and one killed the other with a rock, would that be fucked up or what?
It'd be kind of fucked up, not gonna lie. That's I almost said that's Jay, that's Phil.
I watched it.
Here's Jay,
again.
and I'm Jay. It's the Jay cast. I'd watch it.
I watched a terrible movie last night, and I'm regretting every bit of it.
So, this is gonna be a fun one, only for the fact that I can't wait to see what some of the reactions we're gonna get to this. So, as you can read, or maybe you can't read because you cannot see for whatever reason.
We have nothing against that.
Hello, I almost said Trevor Murdoch. What's fucking Daredevil's name?
Matt
Murdock.
Matt Murdock, yes.
Yes. Daredevil's watching this now. So
Hi, Daredevil.
You know what? I'd be fine with that. It could be worse. It could be like Luke Cage or something like that. You know what? I'll take Daredevil.
I'd rather take Daredevil over Iron Fist.
Apologies to the 6 Luke Cage fans out there, but he's lame. I don't like Luke Cage.
You can't say that anymore, Jay. That's racist.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Because it's AJ!
Because it's obvious. Because it's so obvious now.
What about Iron Fist? Does anybody like Iron Fist? I don't like Iron Fist.
Nobody
likes Iron Fist because he's white.
I mean...
Nobody likes Iron Fist until he's in the movies, and then he's everyone's favorite character.
In Ultimate Spider-Man, he was alright, but...
No one cares about Ultimate Spider-Man.
I do.
Well, you're like one out of 5.
Where they made him a shitty like surfer dude. Fuck that.
Anyways,
at least
so
Nova had representation.
we watched.
Nobody gives a shit about Nova.
I do.
Anyways, enough.
So, we watched Operation Overdrive, the Power Ranger series that everyone always goes, G, it is the worst thing ever. Oh my god.
Or at least they did until Megaforce was a thing.
No, Super Megaforce.
Same thing.
Though I will say, them being almost the exact. Oh no, how long was Super Megaforce? Like 20.
Well, if you combine both, they were 40 episodes, but they were 20 episodes each.
Because of Nickelodeon not wanting to go over 20 episodes.
Yes,
limit.
we know, Phil. So
and Jay's dying over there.
So, anyways, as I was saying, fuck, where do we even get started with this? Do we just go right into the show itself, like with the characters?
I guess.
Because I want to say this, I kind of want to leave Mac for the end because he's the one that we actually have enough to talk about.
Yeah.
So who do we? So we have Samuel Benta playing Samuel Benta as the Black Ranger.
No.
Yeah. Yes, the Black Ranger is a thief, and he plays one on TV.
That's apparently a rumor because Benta.
No, it's not a rumor.
Benta talked about
They
it last
fucking have
year.
him on camera stealing it.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, Phil. Let me put this out for you right now, and for everyone else listening. The thing is, he said that he still took one. That is still one that was meant to be given to charity. He still stole it, whether or not it was fucking.
Oh, that's wrong.
He's still a thief.
That's wrong. You don't do that.
So whatever. Yeah, his fucking. Okay, so we need to tell this story. You might not already know the story, but just in case. So this was a couple of years after the show ended. This was like right in that period where Disney said "fuck Power Rangers, we're done."
No, this was Power Morphicon. This happened.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
2007.
Is that this happened around that time when Disney said "fuck this series, we're done with it," and before Saban bought it back. So back when Power Morphicon was like an actual fan thing,
2007,
and, like, product shilling, basically. It was after the show had ended, and so they were doing this big charity thing where they had this big banner. They had all the actors come and sign it, and they were going to give it to charity as like a big
I thought it was
event.
4 banners.
Whatever the case was, there was this thing they were giving out for charity that was autographed by the actors, and Samuel Benta took it from the convention, and then it just disappeared, and nobody knew what happened to it. And here's the thing.
Worst part, yeah.
He is on camera having been taking it and then leaving the building with it. him stealing it is not a undeniable thing. He definitely did it. He even admitted that he did take it.
And see, even if he wants to say, "Oh, it was not," the thing is, autographed or not, it was still something that was going to be given to charity, and he still stole
the
it,
Make-A-Wish
and he still said,
Foundation.
"Fuck you."
His excuse,
And he still said, "Fuck you."
his excuse, which he waited until like 2
2020.
years ago to give out, rather than immediately afterwards. So
No, it was last
he basically sat on his ass about it and never said a thing about it until recently. Was that no, I didn't take it to steal it. I brought it to the back room so they could give it out, and they have other people sign it when they can't do the convention floor. Yeah, totally, guys. And then there's absolutely no evidence from anybody who worked there or any other guests or anything that he did exactly that. And they pretty much all saw him leaving the building and shoving it into his car. So
Not only that, but then he had a second story where he said, "Oh no," like legitimately, there's a second story where he said that he took it to a place where nobody could find it, and then when he came back, it was stolen. So he's changed his story multiple times. The guy stole the fucking banner.
it's
He's
an
an
obvious
asshole.
it's an obvious sob story because he probably like needs money and wants to get back on the convention
Yeah, but
circuit
he's
like all
banned.
talentless actors.
But he's banned.
Exactly, that's the thing. He was trying to get unbanned because I definitely didn't do it. I was innocent, guys. I totally didn't.
Even though
wait.
he said himself on camera, he still took it.
Even though he waited 12 years to change his mind about it, and then also still admitted to the fact that he did in fact take it without anybody else's knowledge or permission.
So that's basically Will in a nutshell. You know what? It's funny as fuck because that basically sums up his character. He is a whiny, stupid thief
He's
who keeps throwing
self-absorbed.
tantrums.
He has
Self-absorbed thief.
Self-absorbed, he has an ego, he thinks he's more important than the rest of the team, a lesson that he has to keep being reminded of several times throughout the show, by the way.
Pretty much.
They have an episode about him needing to learn how to work together as a team, and then literally the next episode he has forgotten it and running off and being a solo Rambo hero, basically.
And then they do it again with Taizan,
Yes.
which why the fuck? So that sums up the character of Will. That's him.
The only reason he actually has a rivalry between Camdor and Miratrix is, again, the fucking Sentai footage. And I keep saying that a lot during this time I was watching this.
So after Will, we have Rose. Then we have Ronnie, who you might be wondering why we're skipping Rose. It's because she doesn't have a character.
She has no personality.
She's just a
I
smarty
legitimately, I sat there going through the show. I was like, what the fuck is what is her role? What is her personality? She does not have one.
See, the worst part is that, like, she's brought in as the tech expert or whatever, but then it's like, but Hartford does everything she does already.
Nothing she does contributes to the show. They bring her as she is ostensibly the smart one of the team.
She's the exposition machine.
Basically, she's just like, oh, I suddenly know all about this random archaeological event or whatever that nobody else knows about because I read a book, haha. And then, like, the most obvious shit that, like, a fourth grader would know, she is completely absent on. Like, she doesn't fucking know what Mjolnir is, but she knows about, like, oh, this
Atlantis.
super obscure... Yeah, she knows about this super obscure treasure that was at fucking Atlantis.
Oh no, she knows what the Corona Aurora is, but she doesn't know what Mjolnir is. You've never picked up a comic book?
Right? Like,
No, the best part is that she knows about all this, and she knows that these things actually do exist. But whenever a ghost comes to town, she's like, "Oh, those ghosts exist." I'm like, "Are you shitting me, lady?"
Like,
Are you
exactly,
serious?
To the
like...
point where she doesn't even recognize that Thor is not acting like Thor. She doesn't recognize
But again,
that's Loki.
apparently she doesn't know what Thor is.
Like, again, it's like, how the fuck do you know about this ancient ninja scroll that only got mentioned by one guy like 1 billion years ago, but you don't know what fucking Atlantis is, and you don't believe in fucking ghosts?
It's hilarious.
Also, what about Go on, sorry, AJ.
It's a show about them finding magic artifacts, and she doesn't believe in fucking magic.
Again,
I find
it's a thing of they keep constantly doing this thing where she either has no character and is just in the background, or she is the exposition machine to a point, and then she just has no knowledge of anything ever. Because it's like we keep saying, she knows about all these mystical, crazy bullshits, but then it's like, oh no, then she just doesn't know anything about Atlantis or so. Literally,
Like
and
the,
I hate to
the
say
most
it,
obvious like second grade supernatural shit that anybody would know about, unless they literally lived under a rock or were from like the fucking Dark Ages, they would know about. She is completely clueless on.
literally, and I hate to say it like this, but she literally is just, whenever the writer goes, I don't want to make him go anywhere, just tell her, just make her explain it.
Basically,
Like that, she is like the writer's out clause. And then we got the Yellow Ranger, who is Ronnie, and she has less of a personality, only she is... Actually, you know what? I wouldn't say the worst actor. Pink is the worst actor. Rose is the worst actor in this show.
I think they're all pretty bad.
Rose is the
I
worst,
hate
though.
Mac.
You can't deny that. Rose is... God, like, do you remember when apparently like she got mad over Tyzon and she's just like, I'm angry?
I thought she was
Like,
all. I thought
what
she
the
was all right. over
She
Mac.
was terrible,
She
Phil.
was better than Mac.
No,
Yes.
no, she was garbage. She was
When
garbage.
we get to Mac, I will explain why I don't. Oh, wait, why I hate his. Oh, I hate his acting.
So, again, this is an issue of like, what is this character's role in the show? Like, if you swapped Pink and Yellow, I think that would probably work better because they at least match up with their Sentai characters. Because like, Yellow in the Sentai is like the bubbly Genki girl type, and then Pink is kind of the opposite. So it doesn't really make sense with their characters. So you have Yellow, who's like supposed to be the tough one, and then she's acting like a complete moron in the morphed footage.
Again,
let's
because of
not
the
forget.
Sentai.
Let's not. But again, we're trying not to mention the Sentai too much because we're trying to go with the show's own merits here. But like,
Which is very difficult
Yeah, because-
to do.
oh, it's not for me because I've never
It's
seen
difficult
Ghost
because
Ranger. So
the Disney era shows, even when they're not, somehow a lot of the faults that you can see if you have knowledge of it, you basically link to the Sentai. That's the thing. That's the freaking
but see,
thing.
even then, like okay, so like with Ronnie, right? Can we just talk about how she can't hide her accent, and when she does, she sounds like she's trying to do like a weird British accent, which is grating as
I thought
fuck.
she was
Well,
alright.
nobody in this show can hide their accent at all.
No,
But
nobody
I think
can.
I think she's probably the worst, which is weird
Well,
because she's supposed to be like American. She's like a NASCAR driver, but
she has like a fucking like it almost sounds like she's trying to do like a weird awful New York accent at
Oh
points.
yeah, that's right.
And I'm like,
that's right.
what?
Fucking NASCAR
What?
in Italy. No, I don't think Italy has stock cars.
Well, she's a Formula
One
One
racers.
racer.
she's a Formula
Well,
One
again-
racer in a NASCAR car.
Well, again, they mentioned she's just a race car driver. They never really mentioned NASCAR. So
Well,
I'm
of
gonna
course,
I'm
'cause they're
gonna
copyrighted. They can't say that.
I'm gonna be very very generous and say she's just good at racing in general. I'll be very generous with the show with
I
that
hate-
because I'm not going to be very generous with many
Like
things.
again, ostensibly her role would be to like be the pilot of like the vehicles and the mechs and everything, but she barely ever pilots it. Half the time it's like Will or whatever piloting it.
The worst part is like at the beginning, they make her really fucking horny for those cars. Like they make her go like really like, oh yes, 14-wheel drive. Like Jesus,
She
lady.
just loves cars.
She loves them a little too much. I wouldn't like to see her fucking Pixar
Is
collection.
it kind of sad that I actually looked up information about these actors and she's the only Ranger actor, and I don't think from Overdrive who has never gotten cast in anything else other than that.
I don't think I'm surprised at all.
To be fair, from what I know, most of these guys, I think the only exceptions are Tyzon and Rose. Most of these people were models before they were actors.
Oh no.
So maybe she's just a model.
Well, except for
like,
Benta.
maybe she's
Benta had
was
some
most-
roles.
Yeah, but I think they're mostly model people. Like this was during the time where they were mostly going for models, not actors. So I guess from there we go to we go to Dax, which I said before I don't see. For most of the series, I kind of like Dax because he's just a dumbass, and I kind of like that. But then by the end of the series, they really turned his fucking annoyance up to like 10. Like, Wow, dude, you really made this kid a fucking annoyance.
I'm inclined to agree, mostly because he's fine on certain moments, but then when you get to the more dramatic moments, which like some of which we will get into later, he basically says like, "Oh my God, you're saying the worst thing at the worst time."
And I can understand why they made him like that. I can kind of get it because there's points where like, okay, you do need a little bit of levity in a scene like this, but at the same time, it's like you do it a little too often, and it
it's a
kind of
little
gets
jarring.
annoying.
It's like it's Whedon-esque, where you have this ostensibly serious moment, but you have somebody making dumb jokes in the background, completely killing the tone of the scene, and like you're supposed to just like think, haha, this is funny, instead of incredibly infuriating.
Yeah, but Whedon knows when to balance that out, and he knows when to do it at the right time.
Well,
Except Justice League.
He used to.
Except for Justice League.
Well,
he forgot how to do it well before Justice League. Let's put it like that.
We're talking Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron exists.
Yeah, that's the main one I was thinking of, but I was thinking at the very least like before that.
Dude, Age of Ultron,
honestly,
he wasn't even giving a shit on that one. I think it was just like, I'll do it. It's a paycheck.
I think the funniest thing is when we were watching the show, AJ was like, "Man, I don't understand the hate for Dax. He's stupid, but I love him." And I'm like, yeah, you'll find out. You'll see.
Again, it's weird because for most of the show he was fine. Like his comedy was dumb, but it was fine. But then like the last like 5 episodes, I'm sorry, but they took down his fucking IQ by like 100 points. Like they made him an then again, all of them were fucking idiots, but they made him like stupid as like mentally deficient. And I'm just like, why would you regress a character that way? Which kind of goes to the idea that Jay was talking about also when we were watching this. Every character in this show, with the exception of one, regresses hard every single episode. Like, it's almost like they press a reset button on these guys every week, and it's like, that's so fucking annoying, especially watching it in a binge motion. Like, why?
And see,
why would
like,
you do that?
If this was like the traditional, Sentai format of monster of the week, and then occasionally there's an overarching plot line, that'd be fine that you have the characters reset, because there's no real like strict continuity or watch order. So you can just kind of watch it in whatever order, and it's not that confusing that, oh, here's a character suddenly acting different, because it wasn't really made to be shown in that specific order. It was kind of made to be just fill in the space. But this show specifically is more serialized, where there's an actual overarching plot line, and there's like episodes lead into the next, and stuff that happens, carries over. There's an actual more or less a strict watch order with a strict continuity, which makes it more jarring when you have the characters suddenly forget lessons that they learned literally yesterday.
Oh yeah.
It makes it even worse. It makes it even worse because they don't just like forget. Again, they almost do the opposite of what they were just taught.
They regress.
And it's so fucking annoying. Like the whole thing with Dax. Like, oh, he learned that putting the team before his movie career is important. And then, like, the next episode's like, oh, I guess he just kind of forgot that? He's just talking about more movies and wanting to do movies now, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, I guess. Like, really, the only one who, again, because they don't really give her anything, is, like, Rose and Ronnie, because they don't have a character to begin with, so they don't have anything to fucking mess up. Like we were saying right now with Will. He learned to work with people how many fucking times? he learned how to be part of a team how many times?
Like at least 6 times that I can think of. Like,
it was just that bad. Next guy we could talk about is our 6th Ranger, which is Taizon, and
he had an.
I kind of liked him.
He had an interesting.
I thought he was fun.
I thought he was fine.
Yeah,
like
he's the one that I think if I had to rank them in order, I think he's the one I hate the second least. They set him up with basically straight up ripping off the Silver Ranger from Wild Forces arc, where he was betrayed by the villains, and now he's forced to serve them as an evil monster. But because the heroics of the Red Ranger, he's able to free himself from the curse, and he becomes a ranger now. And except it's not nearly as interesting as Zanaku, and it's also condensed down to 2 fucking episodes, so there's absolutely no time to build up the reveal.
until randomly they give him 2 more episodes.
And then they make it super duper obvious that he's going to be the 6th Ranger, because they fucking straight up establish that he is already basically a hero anyways, and it's so
see, I like the idea. I like the idea that, like, okay, he has some kind of reason why he does not want to be part of a team and everything, but like, it's like you said, to condense that in 2 episodes, especially the way they did it, it's just like, you couldn't have given it a little bit more time to boil.
That's what I was about to say. Why didn't they actually separate Face to Face and Man of Mercury? Add like a few more episodes in between, because it feels like some of the dialogue, it feels like they haven't seen him in a long time. It's like, okay, if they had him come in like maybe once or twice, and he shows the reasons of why I don't want to join a team, and finally he just works up the courage to basically be like, hey, I finally got to do this now. They need my help, and it's finally time for me to be the hero I'm meant to be again. That would have been perfect.
But see, apparently, because this show does mention that there is time passing, because I think by the end of the show they say that like a year has passed. So I'm like, why not just say he was gone for like a month or 2? Like, obviously we wouldn't have noticed, and I don't think you would have missed much if he was gone for like a month. And like, not even like in Showtime, you know? Like, show like, oh, he's been gone for 2 months. I can't believe we haven't seen him in so long. And then he comes back and it's like, oh, he's the Mercury Man now. Which can I just say, the Mercury effects on him are hilarious as fuck.
Oh my god, yeah. I described it as looking like that shit that you would see in like a late 90s Eurodance music video.
Yeah.
What about The Rock?
Yeah, fuck. Oh.
So while we're talking about Taizan, let's just talk about the special effects. The special effects in the show are not very good.
They're terrible.
And this is like coming from us who just reviewed Ryuki. So
and Ryuki, that was the HD version as well.
To be fair to the effects of the show, Operation Overdrive did not nearly have as high of a budget as Ryuki did.
Because fuck you from Disney.
That is saying something.
Oh yeah, the directors of this season have openly admitted multiple times that Disney gave them no fucking money at all, basically. Which we already knew about because of basically every show in the Disney area before this, but it's pretty obvious where it's like, hey, I want to do this like globe-trotting adventure type Indiana Jones-esque show. It's like, all right,
$3.
You have $3 an episode. Make use of it.
Well, remember, this was also back when Disney was basically like, this was years after this was very much post Disney Renaissance. This was like after they started having a few fumbles, and this is also when their animation department was like 3rd, and DreamWorks was kind of doing better than them for some reason. It was weird. It was a dark time before they bought Marvel and everything. So they're not making as much money as they did now. But I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, we need a boys property because we got the Disney Princess line. Got to get that thing for the boys.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, I mean, again, we're using Taizan to talk about the special effects because he is the one that they try and be really cute with the most with the special effects. It's like, oh, look at him turning into Mercury, and look at him turn into a ball of Mercury and a shield of Mercury. Whoa! And it's just like, that's adorable. You're trying, guys.
They're giving it an effort.
I'll give them this much. It's not a game changer. But I do like their contacts. The fact that they give the Mercurians those Mercury contact lenses, those are cute. I like those.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
nice.
right. They did do that. That is kind of cool.
They even did it for Taizan's friend,
Bella,
because apparently she couldn't bring herself to call him her fucking fiance. That was the funniest shit.
I mean, to be fair, she was talking to an actual retard, so I don't think he was good.
Okay, can I?
I know, but
this?
like,
can I say this?
but it just comes off so bad.
At the same time, yeah, it feels really awkward to be like, I have a very special friend named that too, and like, oof.
Taizan, my dude. I mean, look, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I mean, Ronnie was giving you the fuck
that's
eyes.
the thing.
Zoned.
Wasn't there like a Ronnie Taizan thing going on for a little bit?
There was like a weird under like line thing with them, and I'm just like, aren't you engaged, dude?
No, we didn't know that. We didn't know that at the time. We found out about that way later because, of course, they had to introduce.
I mean,
he
also
told us.
to be fair, he did also think that his girlfriend was dead. So
Yeah.
that's also fair.
I mean, look.
At the same time, it's also weird when they did it in SPD where Doggy Kruger was trying to fuck the cat lady because he thought his wife was dead, and then now his wife is actually alive. So God
Who's
knows.
to say he wasn't already, anyways?
I mean, to be fair, you got a point there.
How does that
still,
even work?
You don't want.
I don't want to know.
Look. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, Taizan. I mean, again, I liked him for the most part. He was alright. He was alright.
You laughed
I
because
didn't
of his
really
damn,
like the.
You laughed because of his damn metal detector.
See, I thought it was cute because he's made of mercury. He's metal.
So this
metal detector.
This is another thing because this is another thing. Again, I know we're not comparing to the Sentai, but this is from the Sentai because.
I know it's from the Sentai. I get that.
Quickly, I'll just say this. In the Sentai, his counterpart, Eiji, is a Questar hunter who's also half Questar in a way. It's very weird. That's another name for the Fear Cats. And the rod that he had originally, the staff that he had before that weapon, it was basically kind of like it basically kept him from going full nutso, even though that wasn't really the case. It was kind of a placebo effect. But it also acted as a dowsing rod, so that's why they added the metal detector to it, which I thought was also kind of funny.
Again, I like the idea, he's mercury, he's metal detector.
But wouldn't that detect
cute.
him the entire time?
Nah, it's not pointed at him.
I will say the one thing I do appreciate about Taizan is that they don't play up the him being an alien thing too much. Like they do it a little bit where like, oh haha, he's an alien. He dresses like a Jedi, and he's trying to mimic Will because he thinks that's what he thinks.
That
that's
was kind of
That was yeah.
But that one was weird because on one hand it's like, okay, it makes sense, he's the cool one, quote unquote, of the team, so it makes sense that this is what humans think are cool. I'm going to act like him. Like, all right, that it was dumb, but it made sense in context. They don't make every single episode of him about, oh, haha, I am an alien. How do human interact? They don't do shit like that.
What is taco?
What is
Well, I will say this though. The ending of that episode basically tells me that Taizan does not give a shit about his engagement because he tried to fuck someone else too.
Again, he thought
he
was
went
dead.
for someone completely different besides Ronnie. I'm just like, Taizan, you fucking nasty fucker.
Hey,
Again, he thought she was dead, so I'll give him a pass there. But it's
does he
still,
just say that on the first date? Oh yeah, my wife died, so that's why I'm here.
hey, remember, he probably was still.
I can show you mercury can get solid.
Oh my god.
I mean, I think he was my favorite, and he probably had my favorite suit. I don't care what anyone says. That suit looks nice.
It does.
I like that suit. It's such a dumb looking suit, but it's so cool.
It's
at
so
the same time.
shiny.
I will say though, they did dull the suit a lot towards the end. Like I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they really, maybe it was just getting really dirty.
it was probably just because it was dirty.
They dulled that fucking shine a lot. Besides him, who else? I guess we go. Should we leave Red to the very, very end, or do you want to go into Red now?
If you want.
If you want to, but we do got to talk about the MVP of the entire show.
Let's talk about the side characters, and then we'll talk about Red, because again, Red has the most developments, quote unquote, in this show. So let's talk about Red's father first, aka Indiana Jones, but we could not afford Harrison Ford.
Indiana Jones, but he looks like God,
Nathan
he looked like
Fillion?
Somebody, but
He looked like Nathan Fillion, only not kinda.
Yeah, but
not quite what I was going for. But I get what you're saying there.
I got it. Indiana Jones, but we got the likeness of Jack Harkness. John Barrowman.
I don't see it.
I went too far. I jumped over that one. That went over the head.
No, I mean, but I get what you mean. He does look like someone. I had the same thing too, where I'm like, he looked like somebody. I mean, besides just that, I thought he was fucking stupid.
He was all right. He existed.
He was dumb, is what happened. Can we go back to the character regression thing where first episode where he's giving them the morphine shit, he's just like, oh, forget it, if you lose the jewels and the crown this time, just go save the people. And then twice he tries to fire a ranger for losing a fucking jewel.
And then he has to be reminded by MVP that you once fucked up too, master.
Listen, it's like, hey, Hartford, literally everything that's going on is because you're a fuck up. Maybe you should be a little nicer every single time. Every time.
But, like, I don't get that leap. I get it. The writer needs some kind of conflict. But, like, what kind of leap in logic is going, oh, it's okay to lose a jewel, you know, we can get it next time, to, Will, you're a stupid bitch, fuck off? Like,
see, it was one thing when he did it as, like, a trick where, oh, I only pretended to fire him so I could lure you all into a false sense of security so he could betray the villains and be a double agent, like, which was retarded as hell anyways, but and then he just does it legitimately like 4 more times in the entire series, and it raises the question of, like, I don't think you know what you're doing here. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you qualified for this position, sir?
You were gonna be the Red Ranger? You sure?
I think the world would have ended if you were the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
he just keeps firing people. Like, I think you would have ended up with Mac as a Ranger anyways, because you keep firing these fuckers. You're not gonna have anyone left. That was fun, though. I mean, besides that, he's supposed to be the quote-unquote mentor character because he has the money and the fucking
mentoring?
riches.
He doesn't do anything. Also,
that's why I just said quote-unquote.
How much money does this guy have? Like, there's literally the episode where Dax basically goes to an audition, gets the part, and he's like, he went for the audition and he didn't listen to me. How do you know about that? Because I own the movie studio. It's like, how much fucking stuff do you own?
I mean, to be fair, the way that set looked, it looks more like he owns Asylum rather than Universal.
Yeah, that's true.
That's being nice to Asylum. Then again, I was gonna say Trauma, and that's just being rude to Trauma.
And this is why I was thinking the other day, because of course the inevitable will arise that someone's gonna mention the exact same quote that everyone always mentions with Rose. You're rich, buy an army. Okay. I mentioned this to Phil, and I will say it again on recording. It makes sense why he doesn't buy one. Because he's rich, yes, but how much do those powers cost him to make?
Probably $1 billion.
More, because one, they have to be specially made for 5 people. Then he has to make the Zords for 5 people, specifically. Then he has to make the specific DNA changes.
Then he's got to make the auxiliary Zords.
None of that is cheap. So, to me, why would I be spending so much money on like 1,000 little weaklings when I can just make 5 powerhouses?
Okay, but like, he doesn't need to give everybody the DNA shit because that doesn't prevent them from not morphing.
No.
In fact, that's only an excuse for them to be able to do stuff outside of the suit, and I hate that they kept doing that with Power Rangers. Like, oh, they have powers outside of their suit now. Like, no, that's dumb. Like, it made sense with like Ninja Storm and Mystic Forks because they had magic powers.
Did you say Mystic Forks?
Listen.
Jay's hungry.
Listen, I'm tired. Okay.
That's gonna be a Photoshop right there.
Hey, Dino, I didn't mind the civilian powers in Dino Thunder.
I mean, it's gonna be an easy one. It made sense in those shows, but everything
SPD?
else, it was always so lame and forced and stupid. And here he was just really lazy too. It's like, oh, he can see really far. Oh, he can run fast.
He can jump.
He can jump.
Again, I
can
don't
turn invisible, which she never fucking uses in the entire show.
Oh no!
e-
The
except
best part,
twice.
the best part is that when she uses it, she immediately gets the shit kicked out of her. Like, oh great, you can be invisible. You can just sneak into like the villain's lair or something. No, it's like she's like the word. Like, Predator would be yelling at this woman like, "What are you fucking doing?" You're like,
Well,
shit.
you know what? She'd be stealthy if she wasn't, screaming still when she was invisible.
Either way, she
It's
was
the same
garbage. Either way, she used it like total garbage.
The fucking invisibility in Doom is more useful.
Basically. And then you got Ronnie with her super speed,
This
which
needs to be even more fat.
Eh.
Like, remember that?
Oh,
Okay,
she's
okay.
sweetie.
There was a time where 4 of them were stuck in a net, and she was the only one that was still in there. How did she use super speed to get up there if she has no traction to put her feet on?
Listen, Phil,
Speed Force.
speedsters are bullshit.
Yeah,
okay?
Speed
They
Force.
can do what they can do whatever the hell they want. All right.
Wait, does that mean Hartford actually tapped into the Speed Force?
Oh my God, Professor Hartford is Professor Zoom.
I fucking. No
He
wonder
built
he
a
looks.
Flashpoint Megazord. Ah!
You remember when I made 5 Power Rangers, Barry? It was me, Barry. It was me.
Do you remember when the MacGuffin got stolen, Barry? It was me, Barry.
I'm
I
the
stole the
reason Meg is a
MacGuffin.
robot.
I stole it from my own team, Barry. But see, like I said, like I can understand why he wouldn't have made the whole army thing. Because again, from what it seems, he's rich, but he's not like I mentioned to Phil. He's not Bruce
No.
Wayne rich or Tony Stark rich, where it's just like
Or Scrooge
infinite
McDuck
money.
rich.
Infinite money, yeah.
Like he doesn't have
That's
infinite
infinity
money.
plus 3 money.
Where it's like, you need more Rangers. Here you go, $5 billion
But then he
just
built
out of
the
my
stuff
ass.
for Taizan.
I don't think. Yeah, but that's one more.
That's still a lot of money.
Like,
And also all the additional Zords and everything, too.
And
but
that
yeah.
CGI
But
that's
terrible.
splitting hairs there.
What was it called again? The robot that the toy was so bad they had to resell it in Samurai. It was the car.
oh
the-
yeah,
The dumb mini Megazord
Yeah,
that they used.
yeah,
like,
that was
once.
terrible.
I don't remember.
The toy sold so badly they had to repackage it in Samurai of all things.
but yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like that whole thing of like when anybody ever says like, oh, he's rich, buy an army, that doesn't really hold any water when you really think about it. Because like, if they mentioned he was like Bruce Wayne, then yeah, sure,
Oh,
why
no.
not?
Then he'd be
But, like,
Batman.
He's not.
The
What?
thing is that they never give any excuse for why didn't he just make more than 5 if he was able to. He's just like, because I only made the 5 because shut
we're
up.
not
That's the
Q
plot.
Ranger. We're
Yeah.
not Kyoryuger. We don't have Sentai footage.
I mean, to be fair, you can essentially say that about any of these Power Ranger shows at this point. It's just like, oh, Zordon, you dumb fuck. Why didn't you make 17 of us?
only had a few power coins.
Because Alpha was too busy.
Why did you bother kidnapping inexperienced teenagers when you could have just called the million other Power Ranger teams out there in space that we know exist because you keep
Because
talking
shut
about
up.
them, Zordon? Because I couldn't afford the jet fuel. Shut up, Billy.
Interdimensional travel is expensive. Basically.
Talk about
Yeah.
MVP. Can we talk about MVP now?
Oh, you mean Spencer?
Yes.
Oh my God,
I
Who
fucking
does not
love
like Spencer?
he was so great. I loved
His
him.
actor gave too much of a shit.
Yeah, too much.
He whatever he was
He
being
was
paid was not
beautiful.
If
both
he's
in and out
watching
of
this,
character.
we love you, man.
He's not.
He
watching.
probably is.
He's
I wish he
probably
was,
dead.
but he-
He's anyways, so yeah, I love Spencer. He was great. Like he was probably one of the only characters that I was just like, all right, I don't want to just throw you into a wood chipper.
Okay, here's the funny thing. He's a master of disguise, yet how the hell did did he get the body shape of everybody perfectly? There was a time.
Oh, he learned from
Listen.
he learned from Dana Carvey.
It's
He's Phil. He's the master of disguise. Just shut up, okay?
So anyways, besides that, Spencer's just cool. I like him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, can we
I li-
just note for a fact that he said himself again? Maybe he was lying, but he's apparently a veteran from the fucking Royal Navy.
Makes sense. Most butlers usually the fictional butler archetype is usually some kind of retired military.
I mean,
expert.
shit.
Alfred.
They basically mentioned fucking that he warded off a bunch of fucking monsters by himself.
I mean, he's basically just Alfred, essentially. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be base as fuck if he just started flipping around and shit in the final episode? That would be
I
amazing.
know, right? Oh my god,
That would have been great.
Like, fuck Norg doing those flippy flips. Do Spencer here, man. Let's go.
Norg. Oh, Norg.
Oh yeah, so we got the villains. Who fucking do you care about the
all
villains?
of the villains suck.
Yeah.
Florius was great though, because he looked like Hulk Hogan, and that was the best thing
I'm
about
gonna be
him.
honest.
And he was always talking about his brother.
Yeah, he
yeah.
looked actually.
Oh, he
Hey
did.
there, brother.
Oh wait,
No, wait, that's
he
Randy
he was
Savage.
he looked
Flora,
like
brother.
He looked.
What are you gonna do when Floramania comes to you, brother?
He had the look, he had the brother, and he had
Yeah.
the short, stocky, bald dude. Well, let me tell you something, Norg. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, but and he had the mustache.
Oh wait, and
He
it
had the
works even better
mustache.
because with Moltor, just like Randy Savage, he kept the woman in the closet for most of the show.
Wait, what?
Oh, you never knew that he used to do that to Miss Elizabeth?
No, because I don't watch wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's right. Anyways, so Florius was great. He was one. He was another actor who just seemed to care because it was just fun for him, I guess.
The makeup for him
He was
was
fun.
really good. I'm not.
He was definitely hamming it up a lot, which is necessary for this kind of show.
Because if not, you're just trying too hard.
They don't use him
They don't use him too much because
oh fuck.
I can tell you why. Because his makeup costs a lot of money and it wasn't in the budget.
Of course.
Yeah, because his Sentai counterpart looks ridiculous.
Well, again,
Yeah, that and they would have had to film new footage
Yeah,
with him,
'cause-
and they can't
because
do that.
because remember the Sentai version is an old Japanese man basically from the basically calling himself Lord Goadam.
Thank you, Phil. Anyways, yeah, that was fine.
It's also
Moltor,
the same problem with Miratrix because her counterpart was a girl, was a full human girl.
Well, I mean, Miratrix is also a girl, a full human girl.
Yeah.
And
I don't see
Well,
where
but
you're
they
going
look,
with
I don't
that.
think-
but they
I don't know
look
if she's
different.
human or not,
They look
but-
too different. They can't just. They can't. They have
Well,
to
I mean,
put
no
makeup.
shit. She's gonna look different. I mean.
Anyways.
So
Um,
Moltor, it's so weird with Moltor because like they kind of set him up. Oh, they're gonna be these equal factions going against each other, and really he was like the secondary big bad.
Pretty much, which is his role in Bokenger, which is for the most part is that he's not like the main villain. He's a main villain, but he's not like the main big bad.
I mean,
so
they had to bring him back for Gokaiger.
it worked there, and I liked Moltor. I liked his design. It helps that it wasn't an original design, so it, actual talented people worked on it. But he's just kind of lame. Him and Florius don't have a motivation other than we want the MacGuffin so we can be evil. And I like that there's a lot of like they're like a very hastily made truce between them early on, and they kind of just ignore it later on.
Because
and
of a slide.
There's a lot of infighting, but they don't do enough of it. I wish there was like more infighting. I wish there was more plots about like, oh, two villains are here at a location. Now we have the Rangers fighting them both, and I understand that they're somewhat limited by the footage too.
I mean,
But I wish they did a little bit more of the infighting
can you
stuff.
can you tell me what the motive of the other two factions were besides just we want to be powerful and kill people?
Well, there was Camdor, whose motivation was get me out of this whack ass crystal prison. but that happened like 2 episodes after he showed up, so he had no more motivation other than, well,
I guess we kill people then.
I guess we'll kill people.
Was it just? Is this?
He was a
Sorry, go on.
he was a ninja for some reason, which I understand why, because he was a ninja in Bokenger, but it didn't make sense for him to be like a ninja, and he had like a weird like ancient Japan like Shinto gate kind of base there, which made no sense. And Fucking Miratrix did a Naruto run at one point too, which was
That was
so
the funniest shit.
Is it just me, or Miratrix? She looked normal, even as a villain, during most of her time, during the early part of the series. But then, was it just me, or did she get worse with a wig and a fake tan?
Yes, because they kept giving her random ass wigs.
Why? Her hair was fine in the beginning.
I don't know.
Because
she
whatever.
actually looked normal at first. Then, as the series went on, she went closer to looking like a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
You know what the weird thing about her is? Like, her name is Mirror Tricks, right?
Miratrix.
Why does she
Yeah.
do nothing with mirrors?
Because that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
and also that would have cost money because we need to buy mirrors.
Also, by the way,
Hey, there's Eri falling down the building.
If you're wondering why the fuck did she turn into a giant bird monster, that's because of the Sentai, because their faction had a third member, an old crustaceous
she
bird.
didn't turn into a giant bird monster though.
Yes, she did.
She got trapped in the crystal
but
crystal
before
prison.
No,
she
she
got
turned into a
trapped.
bird monster before she got into the crystal.
Oh, did I wasn't fucking.
No.
So
The way it goes is they're doing the whole ritual thing. Oh my god! And then she comes in and grabs it. And she's like, "Oh, I want power!" And then she becomes a giant bird. And then Candra's just like, "Lol, you lost." And then he puts her in the crystal.
Then I wasn't paying attention because I thought the giant bird monster just came
No,
out.
that was her.
I would have not have blamed you if you thought
Which
that.
I mean, to be fair, again, that happened in Bokenger, but
But
they
it was
don't use
different.
her monster costume for the monster form for some insane
They
reason.
left out the old cantankerous bird.
Yeah, so I don't. They don't have a motivation other than, well, I guess we're here. We might as well try to steal the MacGuffin.
So then,
And
So then we got to talk about the faction that didn't actually want power. They just wanted to kill people.
yeah, Fear Cats.
except for when they wanted power.
the Fear. I mean, the Fear Cats really were the only ones who had any sort of personal attachment to the Rangers, and that was only one of them.
Yeah, they hated Taizan because they tried to
They're
kick his
racist
ass
as
once.
fuck.
And they're
Okay,
racist cat
did
people.
anybody
which, I mean,
else
king.
Did anybody else notice that before they got the cog engine in, which is the same thing they did in Bokenger? Did anybody notice that they were dead essentially? That Norg was basically dragging in dead carcasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they were just straight up dead at
Yeah.
one point too. And then for some insane reason, Flurious decides to revive them as cyborgs, which for no good reason they're still fully autonomous, and he doesn't have any control over them, which you would think would be priority one when you're resurrecting a villain of your own to serve as your evil minion. You would think you would want to have them under your control.
Again,
You would
it's
think
more of the Sentai.
you would think reviving a villain faction that is known for mass murder and chaos, no matter where they go. You would probably want to control them a little
in the
bit.
in the Sentai they are murderous. They basically say we just
Well,
wanna
they're
kill
murderous
people."
here too.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, if you ever
Of course, that was a Japanese show, so they could actually
Yes.
kill people instead of just
and,
implying.
and also,
True.
remember how I told you about Boken Silver being a Questar hunter? Yeah, the reason why the Rangers look like a few times where they look like they're basically short circuiting around them is because it was a side effect of the Goadam engine saying, you can't fight us because your engine can't handle what we have. And Boken Silver was the only one who could handle it. And then they wrote it out a couple episodes later. But again,
And many other things we will talk about when we eventually review Bokenger.
yes.
Anyways, so
They had no motivation, but that was their kind of point, is that we don't really have a stake in this.
They were kind of
gonna
the wild
steal it
card.
because
Pretty much.
we're here, but we just kind of want to destroy shit, which is fair, which is fine, up until the end when they decide, actually, no, we're gonna build a giant robot and steal.
we're
the,
gonna build a
MacGuffin.
giant robot that's just basically a CGI T-Rex with guns.
I loved
I
that
did
thing. It was so
It came out of fucking nowhere.
It was so fucking ridiculous. I want it. I want more of that giant robot T-Rex.
Are
It
we
was
ta-
so ridiculous.
Are we talking about the one where they had to get the Battlefleet Megazord out, or are we talking about the one like at the very end?
It's like the CGI T-Rex with the guns on it.
Oh yeah, that.
That shit was funny as hell. So now And after we talk about it, then we can talk about the story proper, because then we got rid of everybody.
About, the worst character.
What story?
Exactly. Worst?
Okay, we're getting to Mac.
Worst?
Okay, hear me out.
Worst?
Okay.
Worst?
I hate
Worst
okay,
character?
I'm an actor myself, so I don't really like critiquing
Oh god,
other
that
actors.
fucking hurt.
But let me say this.
Why did I do
Let me
that?
say this. I cannot stand Mac's acting, because every time his actor is there, he always looks like he's laughing. Now, I have that problem too, but take another take, or at least control it.
127 takes, and that was the best one we got?
No, it's like Ed Wood. Do you want to do another take for security?
What for?
What do you mean? It was perfect. We don't need another take.
Next scene.
Yeah.
It's not about the little details, it's about the big picture.
It's about the big picture.
But it is the little details.
But see, as bad as he was, I really didn't mind it. I kind of didn't mind him that much. Honestly, I kind of liked Mac.
I liked him the most out of the main Rangers,
Yeah.
because mostly because he's the only one with a personality and a character arc and motivation.
Not to mention,
and
he's the only one who felt like
acting
he
talent.
Well, besides Taizan, he's the only one who
fair
felt like. Well, I was gonna say besides Taizan, he's the only one who felt like gave a shit about anything. Like, no, he wasn't completely consistent with his character, but like he felt like he cared about what he was doing. I didn't feel like
Exactly.
anybody cared. Like Dax, Will, Ronnie, Rose, nobody. They didn't feel like they gave a shit. Really, I mean, they did it, but that's only because they're getting paid to. Really, I don't feel like any of them cared besides Mac. It's kind.
Yeah, he was the only one who really gave a shit about, oh yeah, we need to stop these evil alien supervillains from obtaining the magic artifact and destroying the world. The rest of them were just like, whatever, yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
Well,
pay
remember,
me.
that's also more because he spent most of his time reading adventure books, and he wanted to be the hero. That's him in a nutshell.
And I liked that, where he's this kind of naive, sheltered, rich kid he's kind of stupid, but he's not incompetent, and he's kind of living out his childhood dream of being an adventurer, and it's fun, and it gets him into trouble because he's kind of clueless. So I like that aspect of him, and it really works well, and it's why I really enjoy.
And see, the weird thing about it is that like that naivete, where it's like he's doing it because he read it in a book and everything, and it's like, oh my god, I want to be like that too. But at the same time, you can tell it's not just like, I just want to be a hero because that's what the books told me to. It's like, no, I want to be a hero because, well, for one, I really like the books, and two, it's like, oh wow, I actually like helping people. This is cool. This is interesting.
Yeah.
And I liked him.
It's a nice conflict there with his dad, where his dad kept him super sheltered, and he never let him do anything or leave the house or exist at all in a human realm, and there's a conflict there where his dad doesn't want him to be a ranger, and he kind of strong arms himself into being one, and he kind of ultimately accepts it, but he's still like super protective of his son, and it's like he's trying to, I'm vaguely adult like dad. I can live on my own. I can do what I need, and it's a really nice setup too, where it's his dad's still super nervous and protective, but he's trying to accept letting his son go out there and risk his life to fight evil and protect the day and make up his own, fix his dad's failures, basically.
And I'll say this, besides the whole Hartford basically trying to fire people multiple fucking times for no reason, I kind of like the relationship he had with his dad. I thought it was kind of nice.
It was
a really nice relationship too, and it enforces the I guess the twist, obviously, which we're going to talk about. It kind of enforces their relationship where.
Did we?
Yeah, I did.
No, we haven't. We haven't mentioned
No, during the Dr. Zoom part, I spoiled it. You'll hear it.
Oh, congratulations, Phil.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Phil. Nobody heard you over me screaming and doing a bad Professor
I
Zoom.
did it.
And also, you called him Dr. Zoom again. God damn it!
What a hack fraud. Truly.
Anyways,
as we were saying, so yes, there is a twist. So, as Jay kind of already alluded to, technically Mac ain't a person. Technically,
Yeah, that's a really fun twist too because
it is
for start. So it's like they build it up and it makes the his dad's overprotectiveness of his son make more sense. Where, oh, the villains happen to just inflict our servers with a vague computer virus, and it's like, don't worry guys, everything's fixed. And then you just hear Max like, that's relief. That's really he keeps repeating himself and like redoing his motions, and everybody's just like, okay, Max, stop playing around. And then he keeps doing it, and he just keeps doing it, and it's like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with
and then
him?
it leads to what I believe has given multiple children extreme trauma.
We smash cut to Mac's head on a fucking table and his body on another table halfway across the room from them. Surprise, he's a fucking robot.
He's a robot.
Bum, bum, bum!
Which, for starters, and it's a rarity for this franchise, is actually very well foreshadowed.
Oh, it definitely is.
Granted, they kind of front load it like an episode or two right before they reveal it.
Well, I mean,
But,
shit.
like,
The
there's
episode before this, he was literally in a robot costume.
Yeah, there's the fucking Halloween episode where he's dressed up like a stereotypical robot, and his dad just looks at him and he's like, "Oh, this is super awkward." All right.
What about the episode with the compass, which was not a compass? It actually
Yeah, the
feng
luck
shui.
part.
How is it? Okay, first off, this is okay. How is and Spencer goes over to Hartford and says, "Sir, if it's true the compass can bestow bad luck, how is it that Mac?" And he's like, "I don't know." It's like, yeah, how is he literally not frying himself?
I mean, shit. Fucking, they basically. I mean, if you go back and watch it, they basically spell it out in the first episode.
If you go back to the very first episode, you have Spencer being like, "Listen, don't feel bad if you think your dad just thinks he's another possession of yours. He does actually really love you as a son." It's like he really stresses the don't feel bad if you think you're just one of your dad's possessions. And like of course, in like, you know, if you're watching it first time, not knowing it going in, it's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. His dad's like a collector and everything. But then if you watch the scene with knowing ahead of time, it's like, oh, okay, it's because he's literally his dad's possession because he's not a real boy. All right, I get it now. Well, yeah, of course.
We'll get to that.
On it, it's really well done too, and it kind of leads into the last couple episodes where he becomes super rebellious and standoffish from his dad. And
He has an extreme identity crisis.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's weird because the rest of the Rangers just kind of like accept it when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a robot," and they're like,
Okay.
All right,
sweet,
whatever. Yeah, they're like, cool, but he like,
but
it's like, oh yeah, all of my childhood memories are fake and they were photoshopped pictures. It's like, first of all, he did a really shitty job of the Photoshop.
He did.
Yeah,
which is funny because like they're looking at it and you have Dax like, "Hey, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to have a shadow."
It could have been noon.
This is weird.
Noon. Yeah, but then the tree had the shadow.
No, but it's
the
like,
tree had the
yeah,
yeah, it's like, yeah, hey, I'm not an expert on most things, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to have a shadow when everything else has a shadow. And they're like, yeah, that is weird. It's like, hey, whatever, here's a mission, whatever.
What about when Mac finds out he's a robot and Hartford says, "Look, I was so busy with my work, I didn't have I didn't find
Oh
time to
yeah,
find the
that.
right one." It's like,
Oh,
why did
that
you build one of
fucking
those?
sick,
damn,
that sick burn where he's like, I couldn't find the right woman. Well, why didn't you just build one, Dad?
I was like, damn, bro.
Fucking
but like
ruthless.
to go back real quick, like you were saying, the other Rangers kind of like it's really nice to see them kind of like try and comfort him, where it's just like, you're a robot, so what? And Tyson's like, dude, so what are you, a robot? I'm a fucking alien. Like
I'm a spaceman. You should be fine being a robot.
and even like Dax is just like, well, dude, you can play DVDs in your head and shit, man. Like it's cute.
That's cute, which is funny because then they do that like 2 episodes.
I know, right?
They literally use him to fucking do a recap episode, which is, for one, why did they need to do a recap episode? Two, I love how they're able to see things that Mac was not physically present for and could have no way of knowing about having happened.
That's fine.
For the recap episode.
It's fine. Don't worry. But yeah, it's great. Like, I honest to God love that twist because for one, it's with the Red Ranger and not with just pink or blue or whatever, someone we don't care about. It's with the main guy.
Yeah, they could have done that twist with like the Yellow Ranger, where the Yellow Ranger is like a fucking space person or whatever.
Oh no,
as well.
she's a robot.
Which she was in the Sentai.
Oh no, she's like a ancient Atlantean alien or whatever.
But like
in the room
they,
where echoes were invented.
Yeah.
so like they fucking they could have done that with anybody, but they went with the Red Ranger, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually really cool because you never really see that. It's like on par with killing a Red Ranger, where it's like you never really see them use them for big twists on themselves, really. And I like that. And then, of course, it kind of leads to, honestly, some of my favorite parts of the episode or parts of the series, where it's just him and Hartford kind of trying to make up. Where like Hartford's just like, look, dude, I know you're a robot, and I know I kind of fucked up, but like, come on.
And he's still super better about it, and like he stopped calling him dad.
Dude, yes.
Oh, that would hurt the most, where he's just like, thanks, Mr. Hartford.
hated it.
Sorry,
and then,
Mr. Hartford.
I hated that part.
You can just see his dad's smile disappear. It honestly hurt.
Do you know what got to me? The part where the Chillers and Flurries are attacking the base, and Mac is basically telling that he is captured, and basically tells him, "Well, just go on without me. Keep fighting. I'm not important." And you just see Hartford say, "You are to me." That nearly made me cry, because it's like, even through all the shit that Mac has been doing to him by basically not acknowledging him as his own father, he still loves him as his own son. And I'm like, oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Of course, the reveal of him being robot kind of opens a couple questions, like how did the DNA altering thing work on him? You know, like if he's a robot, how we see him eating and like drinking. How the hell does that work? Like, and then there's of course also the question of why the fuck didn't he just build a bunch of robots to be Rangers instead? But whatever.
Actually,
we have Zenkai.
Funny enough, they do. Funny enough, Spencer does actually kind of explain the DNA thing, where he says he calibrates it specially for him.
Ah.
It's a very throwaway line.
That's fair as well, but I think it's weird. Like, okay, now suddenly he has super strength. Like, wouldn't he have super strength before this point? But whatever. It's minor gripes. I
have kind of a weird working like idea with it, where it's like it's all kind of like a placebo effect with Mac, where like Hartford kind of made his, because again he said like, I wanted you to be like a real person, and I want you to learn, and I want you to do this and that, basically like learn like a real AI does. So my idea was like, maybe Mac he did always have super strength, but like maybe Mac never really thought he did. You know, it's mind over matter, I guess you could say, where it's like, oh well, I never thought I had it, because why would, if you're trying to tell this kid he's a real person, real people don't just naturally have super strength. It's like, oh, I just thought I had it.
Does that explain?
That makes sense.
That does make sense, but does that explain him jumping into the air and slicing a monster in half with the Sentinel Knights?
Yes.
No, but that's still fucking bad.
Rules of nature. That's still my favorite edit I've ever done.
Wait.
I love how he just shows up fucking Johnny Young Bosch by cutting the monster
AJ,
in half, unmorphed by himself.
You actually did that, AJ? You made a cut of that?
Yeah, I put it on my Twitter.
Please send me a link to it, please.
It's like legitimately one of my favorite fucking videos.
I need to see that, please.
Nanomachines. Well, literally nanomachines. Literally nanomachines. But yeah, overall I think I liked Mac. I didn't find him annoying. He was kind of bland at points, but really, oddly enough, he came off as a kid just being playing hero. You know what I mean? And I kind of liked him. Liked him.
But instead of him playing hero, he became the hero.
Exactly, and I think that was the point where it's like, oh, he loves these books and everything, but now it's like he get to actually be him, and I liked it. And then when he basically does die at the end.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, that's kind of crazy. They actually killed him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mac wasn't a bad character. I just hated his acting. I just hated the acting.
I liked him, and I just liked him. I think as the Red Rangers go, he was all right. He was fun. And then of course, he becomes a real boy at the end. So
which I was annoyed about. I kind of wish they didn't do that. I mean, it's fair enough that they give him something as a reward, but I kind of would have felt better had they not gone through.
Yeah,
with
same here. I feel like, I feel like, would you have left him dead though?
No, I mean, it's fair enough that they bring him back, but him just like suddenly being a real boy now is just kind of stupid. Like, oh, Sentinel Knight can just do that, but he can't just do anything else the entire show.
I mean, technically, it wasn't the Sentinel Knight
Aurora.
doing it.
I mean, it was okay. That's fair enough. I misremembered there. But
It's the Mega MacGuffin.
The Corona Aurora.
at the same time, it's fair that they bring him back. I kind of wish that they didn't make him a real boy.
He's a real boy.
Personally, I wish they kind of did like a bittersweet thing where like they bring him back, but like, oh, he doesn't have like his memories of like his childhood or whatever. He's like a blank slate, so that leads into the ending where Hartford gives him like a real childhood now where they're going on adventures and stuff. That would have been fun. I would have liked that more rather than, oh, he's just a real boy.
That actually would have been
whatever.
somber. Also, if he was a real boy, wouldn't Hartford worry even more about him now? Considering
No,
well,
don't worry about it.
Well, because now he's got like flesh and bones, and that could actually get hurt. And now he's gonna explain about actual eating and body and stuff and all that other stuff.
But see, the thing is, like,
When a man loves a robot,
but see, like, what I assumed is that like Hartford kind of already gave him that. See, again, it's like Jay was saying, like you see him eating, you see him drinking and shit. So like, I'm assuming Hartford probably programmed something into him to basically be as normal as possible to the point where he would not notice. But it's still kind of funky. It's kind of funky.
How do robots eat anyway?
They
don't, especially because he doesn't like. We see him when he has his head off, and he doesn't have like a neck hole. It's just like a spinning disc, basically. So how the fuck does that
how would he
work?
explain his digestive system? Because he's not processing all of that. So,
I mean, his fucking house has 30 bathrooms. Clearly, he's never needed.
okay,
to use
that
one of them.
that house cannot have 27 bathrooms at the size that it is.
yeah, it can.
Listen, Phil, he's rich. Okay?
Look, you don't understand the ways of rich people. There can just be like one toilet in the middle of the hallway. You just don't get it. You know?
It's
just right
is it,
there.
a fucking university campus building? That I can at least understand having 27 bathrooms.
So I guess we just talk about the actual story because honestly,
Don't we need to talk about Sentinel Knight?
who
What
cares?
about him?
Like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm the Sentinel Knight.
Well, he's just
Oh,
there.
Mac, I'm the Sentinel Knight.
He's just ate it. He's just there.
I'll give Sentinel Knight this much. He has more of a character than Zuban does.
He does.
He can say more things than just his name
Zuban.
and actually does
Yeah.
stuff.
Let me give you a normal conversation with the Sentinel Knight. Hey, Sentinel Knight, can you help us? No. Why not? Fuck you.
No,
And that's the episode.
Because I'm a whack-ass ghost.
Because I'm a
see him
whack-ass
after 11 episodes, and then he
ghost.
comes back and wants a ranger because, of course, we had to start using the Zuban footage. And remember the Halloween episode where we're like, even the Sentinel Knights
Listen,
help
Mac,
me.
I'm sorry I can't help you guys, but good luck, lol.
I have to start carving pumpkins for the Halloween party.
Yeah, they just use this like ancient fucking being to carve pumpkins. I guess
that was kind of funny. It's like I'm having fun.
it's relaxing.
Or what about the Red Sentinel Ranger? Where even I get a little cracked up. It's like, I'm ready when you are, and his face just opens up. It's like, I've been ready for centuries. It's like, really?
I fucking
Wait,
hated that costume.
you've been waiting centuries to merge with a cyborg teenage boy to fight evil ninja aliens.
You're thinking too hard.
Listen,
on this.
Phil. Some people have really weird dreams. Okay.
Look, whatever
I
gets his
actually
rocks off, man.
I actually didn't mind that battleizer. It was better than Dino Thunders, which had the Mr. Fantastic
I think
arms.
it's not nearly as bad as some other ones. It's not nearly as good as other ones either. It exists.
It's better than Lost Galaxies.
Well, most things are better than Lost Galaxies.
Hey,
Well,
don't knock
I mean-
Magna Defender. Magna Defender is my boy.
Well, I to be
Magna Defender is from Ginga Man, all right? He fucking shut up.
No, he's.
I mean,
from
to be
Lost
fair, I
Galaxy,
think I would
Paul.
rather take somebody like Leo over Mac, but that's only physique
That's fair.
wise.
I mean, do you remember that time he ripped his
Like,
shirt off?
For no reason.
For no fucking reason? Yeah.
Look, dude, when you've got that,
Yeah.
you show it off. All right,
Exactly.
you go to your director and be like, "Hey, can we just like slip this scene in there?" Why? Look, dude, and he just shows the director like his abs. He's like,
I mean,
"All right."
have you seen me?
Like exactly.
And
Have you seen this?
Even Japan does it. Like when Birth's actor was playing.
Exactly, because like
Scheider,
because with
he
Birth,
ripped off his shirt
actually's
and
got
it's-
something
and
there.
it's like, I have this. Okay, I literally am in a movie where I have to kiss a girl just to get her out of a rage trance, and I got pecs. You show that shit off.
God, I wish that was me.
I mean,
Anyways, the show doesn't really have a story to talk about, so there's a.
It's just a gem quest.
bless you.
Bless you.
So yeah, so as you were saying, the story, there's not really much of a story to talk about because it's really
Bless
just
you,
a
bless you.
big thing of just adventures and shit going off and off with the Rangers, pretty much trying to get the next MacGuffin, which is called the Corona Aurora, which is the funniest shit because, I mean, it was funny when I first heard it, but now it's funnier now.
Exactly.
So
I like the serialized format where every episode is them finding a new MacGuffin that leads to a bigger MacGuffin and stuff like that.
Thor's hammer not looking
I
like
like
Thor's
that
hammer.
idea. Yeah, where Thor's hammer leads them to another thing, and then that gets them.
and then they go to
jammed.
Egypt, to go to Japan, to go to Egypt again.
to go to our fucking basement.
Okay. When they did Florida, okay, I get that they didn't have a budget, but really, you couldn't have made like a parody of Disney World. You couldn't have basically said, "Oh, the gem is in a theme park."
Look, dude, Disney
Phil,
did not give a
that-
shit, so no.
Phil, that would require them leaving New Zealand, which they're
I'm
not
not
going
saying
to do.
go to Florida.
I like that there's at one point where they're like, oh yeah, we have to go to New Zealand, so they don't have to actually bother pretending like they're not in New
I know,
Zealand.
right?
That
No,
was fun.
Jay, I'm not saying go to actual fucking Disney World. I say go to New Zealand. Well, you're staying in New Zealand. Find a theme park there and pretend that it's Disney.
No.
Phil, that implies that New Zealand has any theme parks.
You know,
It implies that New Zealand is not just a barren wasteland.
you know, even all this time, I still can't believe after all this time
New
that
Zealand is a shittier Australia. Phil.
yeah, except in New Zealand, not everything there is not trying to kill you.
No, you just want to kill yourself because you're in New Zealand.
Hey, Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Look, I'm
Star Wars was
Anyways.
filmed in the middle of a fucking desert.
Yeah, Tunisia. That was where my grandmother came from.
Anyways, so
No, really, my grandmother came from Tunisia.
happy for
Thank you.
Anyways, so there's no story. You know, let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about, because I know people are gonna ask. Let's talk about Once a Ranger because I know people are gonna ask us about that.
Because that is the episode of the series. That is the one that everybody talks about.
That's the one
and
that
for good reason.
everybody always tells me. When I first started watching it, everybody always told me that is where Operation Overdrive gets garbage.
Why?
Which is technically true.
I don't get it. Why does it get garbage at that point? I thought that would be a highlight of the show.
See, it's weird. Because, like, okay. So there's two things I have to say about this. One, the way they portray the older Rangers is kind of not dickish, but more like, yeah, you guys lost your powers. Oh well, tough tits.
No, technically,
So
Xander,
that's one.
Technically, Xander tells them, we're just filling in for you guys till you get your powers back.
Yeah, but their attitude is not that. Again, there's things you say and things you do. And the
Alright.
way that they were saying it was just like, oh, no, ain't that sucky. Oh, no, you don't have your powers because you stupid.
That's
I'm like-
understandable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, okay. And then we had basically the past Rangers showing up, the new ones, really, really badly. They were just basically
Which I mean,
styling.
it is natural for most crossovers. Is the older hero is always the cooler one.
Sure, but they style on them way too much.
Oh yeah, like they completely demolish any credibility the
Oh,
older
yeah.
Rangers have.
And it kind of gets to a point where I'm just like, did you have to do that? Did you have to basically tell the fucking the new Rangers that they suck dick? Like,
I mean,
It's
granted,
Overdrive.
when you're being compared to Johnny Young Bosch, that's kind of natural.
sure, but like that's just not fair. That is just not
Of
fair.
course.
It's not.
It's understandable, but it's not fair.
It's not. It's not. I actually know a little. I remember AJ was questioning why was Bridge the Red Ranger. That's actually something I know as to the reason why it was Bridge.
Well, it's because they explain it in
Yeah,
the show.
they do.
No, but in production wise, it was supposed to be Jack. But apparently, from what I read, he and Kira from Dino Thunder, they were dating and beforehand, and I'm guessing they must have had a bad breakup, or it was that's what I'm thinking it is, and he just didn't want to come back. Though, why Bridge? Why not bring Sky back? Because Sky became the Red Ranger. Maybe that was a schedule conflict.
It's pretty much let's spend all our money getting Johnny Young Bosch here, and then who can we call that doesn't need to be provided a plane ticket?
Most
basically.
of
Who
them
can we
were
call
not.
that's not expensive?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have Ninja Storm Blue, whatever, Mystic Force Green, who I hate, and I haven't even seen Mystic Force, and I hate
like
him.
Xander. He's pretty cool.
Dino Thunder Yellow, which is fair because she's the only popular one from that show.
Oof.
And yes, that does include Tommy. That does include Tommy in that cat.
That is a big oof.
I don't know why they didn't bring back Dino Thunder White as like the Sixth Ranger analogous, because that would have been
because then they would have to pay for one more
wasn't
person.
he like wasn't he one of the popular Six Rangers?
I don't know.
Yeah, but then they would have to pay for one more
That's true.
person.
Look, we're working. Look, the crossover got
S-
$4 instead of $3, and $3 of those dollars went to Johnny Young Bosch.
Exactly. We had SPD Red, who was SPD Blue, who was
SPD
SPD
Green.
Green, which is very hastily explained as. So at the end of SPD, Red quits and Blue becomes Red.
Then
and
Blue,
then in between,
who was red, now quits.
Doggy retired.
No,
and
Birdie
so now
retired. Birdie
Blue-
retired, then took over. Then Doggy took over Birdie's place, and then Sky took over Doggy's place.
So the Birdman went to Florida.
To Miami.
The Dogman's now
Went to Miami.
now in charge. So now Red is Doggy Kruger's spot. So now Green, who became Blue, is now
Yeah, but here's
Red.
the funny thing: Sky ends up becoming
Which is
the Decker
so
Ranger, which is
needlessly
like a upgraded
convoluted.
Red, it's like a mix of Red and Shadow Ranger, and I actually like that design. Why are they not? Why Hasbro make a figure of that for God's
No.
sakes?
No,
Make a
it looks like
Make
shit.
a figure of it. I want that
It does
figure.
look for. Of course, you like it. Anyways,
Phil.
It's the
Phil,
coat. I like the coat.
It's
yes, we know.
it's not that good.
Phil, you need to go on 4chan/fashion every once in a while. I swear.
I'm not going on 4chan. I'm not going on 4chan. That's worse than cancer.
I mean,
Then you are weak.
yeah. Anyways, so
Your flesh is weak, Phil.
I'm not going to fucking 4chan. Are you nuts?
anyway, so yeah,
and then of course we have Adam steal your girl park. Mighty Morphin
the only
Black.
one they couldn't afford the fucking. Apparently, they couldn't afford the theme song for.
Yeah, for whatever fucking reason, and I know the reason why, but they could not be asked to use the Mighty Morphin theme or any fucking music at all. So he has this shitty generic rock riff.
It's
Why
the
is
worst.
that? Is it because of a rights thing?
As far I remember reading this somewhere, and I could not back up the veracity of it, but apparently at some point in the late 90s, around when Haim Saban sold Power Rangers to Disney, he sold the rights to the soundtrack to another company that Disney did not actually buy it back from them, which is still the case with Hasbro and Nick, which is why they're not allowed to use any of the old music or footage or anything like that, pretty much. Which is why they couldn't get Goldar's old voice actor back, and they had to recast him with the shittiest cast possible. So they're literally not allowed to use the Mighty Morphin theme anymore. Apparently, I don't know how true this is because they used it for like 10 seconds in the movie, but it makes sense. Also, I assume they just didn't give a shit.
More than likely, did not give a shit.
Probably.
I believe the idea of Haim Saban selling the music to somebody else because he's, well, I mean, there's a quick word to describe him, but I'm not going to.
Well, there was
yes, like AJ said.
Go on, Jay.
So it's very jarring whenever they cut from the theme songs, which rather than like using a snippet of as like a sample, they always started over right from the beginning.
It's so weird.
Every time the actions start to make it, like the song is about to get to the point where the action should be, they just immediately cut to the next one. Like every single time they have SPD start, it's always the opening guitar riff, and then right as the main part of the song starts, they cut away. It's so awkward.
And they did that with the instrumental for Mystic Force, which, okay, the audio track is not good, but the instrumental track for Mystic Force's theme is actually pretty good.
So every time, and then we'll cut to Adam, and it's this shitty generic rock song every single time, and it's like if you and I did it as like an example. I started playing the Mighty Morphin theme over his fight scenes, and they're so much better when they do.
Do you
that.
think that
it's
they
so
had
weird.
edited the Mighty Morphin theme over it, and then when they realized, oh shit, we couldn't get the fucking we could not get the fucking rights on time, they just replaced it at like haste?
They possibly,
because it's like legitimately,
know.
It sounds hasty. Like the way the song is like produced, it sounds like they did it within a weekend.
Even I got to agree on that one.
Pretty much. Which is a shame because, I mean, quick aside, the rest of the soundtrack's actually pretty good when you can hear it over the constant explosions and lasers. It gets a little repetitive, but the actual soundtrack of the show is pretty good.
It's not that bad, no. Well, besides when they're using the stock orchestral stuff, when they're actually actually using legitimate music, it's all right. It's all right.
Except for the theme song. That theme song is terrible.
Oh god, that song is stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Operation
Overdrive.
I hate the fact that I have to admit that song is legitimately stuck in my head and it's not leaving. I've tried, but it's in there and it's never. It's like that type of bad song where it's just like
the instrumental of the theme song is great because they play it over the ending credits, and I always listen to the ending credits. But the actual main song is just garbage.
It's because the guy who's rapping
so
it
weird.
literally has no rhythm.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't give a shit. No.
He has
So speaking of not
negative
giving a
rhythm.
Shit, the crossover, which was Rita and Zed's son, whose name is
Drax.
Thrax, and who is one of the shittiest designs I've
Dude,
ever
Oh, it's
seen.
terrible.
Tell them the design. What I compared it to, Jay. Tell them what I compared it to.
I don't remember.
Phil compared it to a Hell Knight from Doom, which I think he means a
That's
Baron
what
of
I
Hell,
meant.
because Phil only knows the reboot Doom, and the Hell Knights don't look at all like Phil was describing because he's stupid.
Fuck you.
And then, of course, to fuck with him, I posted the picture of the original Hell Knight, which is literally just a reskin of the Baron of Hell, and made fun of him for that too.
Yeah, but it's a mix of the Baron
which-
of Hell and.
Yeah. Yes.
Literally, the only thing they needed to do to make that design good was make the fucking mouth plate, which for whatever reason covers like a third of his face, make that cover the entire lower part of his face. That would have made the design at least like 20-30%
less
better.
like Hitler.
It would have still been shit, but it's still ugly.
And that's not even
I-
getting into the whole, that's not even getting into the whole thing of like how the fuck he exists.
Yeah.
That of course opens the rabbit hole of we have the main villain of the original series, Kid, who is like 30 years old at the very least.
But
looking.
he's 10,000 years apparently
Except-
in a dumpster.
Except it raises the fucking question of when the fuck was he born? Because we established that he was an enemy of the Sentinel Knight before the crown got stolen, and he got locked away. And 10,000 years and I'm free. Time to conquer Earth, as we all know. So that raises the question of did that mean that he was born around the time of like Zeo and Turbo, and then time shenanigans happened? Or did that mean that Lord Zed and Rita fucked like 10,000 years ago before she got locked away, and their kid was just running around for some reason and nobody ever mentioned it?
Also, if he was 30 years old and and apparently that's why Zed and Rita never came back in Turbo because they were raising him, wouldn't he have been affected by the Z-Wave?
I guess not.
I guess not.
See, my theory
because
that I told Jay was, this is my theory that I told Jay is that he was conceived before that, way before that, like
because that's
like
the
a
only logic,
fling.
and that I guess he never escaped until like a week ago, and that's why he was unaffected. Which, okay, that's fair enough, but it still raises too many questions because he's aware of the Z-Wave destroying Zed and Rita's powers, even though Rita got her powers back because complicated
Mystic
reasons.
Force.
And I guess that means Zed got his powers back too.
does that mean
which
he's
they
just
never
like
did
a
anything
pure
with.
white Zed now or
No,
something?
so what happened was apparently in the PS2 Super Legends video game, they established that Zed got his powers back, but they never actually explained how he got it back. And the only reason why Rita got her powers back was because Michiko Soga, Michiko Soga was
we know
was
this.
Maji Mother, so they had to write that in.
Yes, thank you, Phil. So it's just like we're going to reference the old show by having a new villain who we never mentioned before now associated with the old show up, which they do every single crossover, and it's still lazy, but it raises the question. It just raises too many questions.
It could have been so many other villains. It could have been Golder. It could have been Rito. It could have been the rebuilt machine. No, Machine Empire is gone by that point.
You could have literally just made it Zed and then got rid of that, because they literally already brought Rita back. They might as well.
They could have just said like, "Oh, this is supposed to be Zed from like a different timeline or some shit."
Or even say Zed.
Yeah, it's him from like the
gone.
future, or him from the past, or whatever, or who gives a shit? But it
said,
just
Zed got affected by the Z-Wave, but then he for a new start, but then he just turned evil again.
But no, I would hate that. That would actually be really garbage. I would unironically think that was like the worst thing
what
they
they
could
do
do.
in that
would be bad.
They do that in that video game Phil was talking about, because I'm a loser and I have actually played like 10
You
minutes
loser.
of that, so I know what the which hey, listen, it's different when I admit to being a loser, so
I would have taken
It hurts
Ivan,
less.
I would have taken Ivan fucking Ooze over Thrax.
oh my god, why have they not brought
Yeah, why
Ivan
not?
back yet?
Dude, it's because he costs too much.
Yeah, it's true.
That's fair. Anyways, so he shows up and he gets all the villains to play along and work together for some reason. And then they for some reason are able to destroy the Rangers' powers, except not really. So Sentinel Knight has to call in a favor from Johnny Young Bosch and a bunch of other Rangers nobody cares
Because
about.
apparently he can also call forward into the future.
And yeah, he's for some reason able to contact the fucking future to get a
Can I
Ranger
just
back.
say right now,
We're
though?
we're
Can I just
10
say
years
right
away
now?
from- Go on.
Like, I know they didn't care, but could it have killed them to make what's his fucking name, Bridge?
Bridge.
Could they have killed them to be like, Bridge is technically still not supposed to say anything about the future? Because they made a pretty big deal about that in this SPD.
Yeah, it's true.
They're not supposed to say anything about
and the thing
this.
is, like, in SPD, they at least fucking wiped their memories after the crossover anyways. So it's fair enough that he, like, okay, we're still not supposed to say anything, but whatever. No, he's just talking about, oh, I'm from the future, and, like, I'm a space cop, and, like, dude, fucking prime directive here, buddy, all right? What are you doing?
We went from like Next Generation to Discovery real quick.
Is it also weird that when that came out, when that crossover came out, it felt like so far along, and it felt far away, and now we're literally near 2030?
Yes.
Jesus.
Isn't it weird that we are now gonna be like adults? We're adults now, but it's like we're not kids anymore.
You're saying that to yourself is a little generous.
Phil, please,
Oh, fuck
please
you!
please do not make me think of my own mortality.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh, Jay, I knew about that a
Phil,
long
that's
time
the
ago.
reason I drink. All right, you don't need to. Keep
Jay, I
reminding
already
me
know
when
about
I'm
my own
sober,
mortality. I found out that in 2054, I'll be in my 60s by that point.
Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Phil.
for reminding me that I'm gonna
Thank
get
you.
old.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. We get it. You're making me sad.
I don't want to
okay?
get old either.
Anyways,
What happened
get
here?
so
We're talking about mortality.
Where
now.
the
We're talking about Power Rangers. I don't want to hear about your fucking existential crisis here, buddy. Okay. So
anyways,
Wait
So
till you get
after-
to my age. Wait
So-
till you get to my age, you'll get your quarter life crisis.
thank you, you 30-year-old fuck. Anyways,
I'm not
so
30 yet.
as we were saying,
so he's able to contact all of these other Rangers across the globe, and by across the globe I mean 2 blocks away in New Zealand, and also the future,
yeah, you know, future.
to get these Rangers back.
I
Why he's only able to contact 5 and not more than that is because of adult reasons.
I'll say this, dude. Honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure the Sentinel Knight was just saying he was weakened, so he didn't do shit. He's just like, look, I spent like 3,000 years protecting this fucking crown. I just want someone else to do
10,000.
it. Whatever.
And it took him being forced into a robot body to actually have to do something.
I'd be pissed.
I'd
So-
be pissed too.
So the new Ranger, the new old Rangers show up, and they're able to kick the villain's ass, and then they just decide, fuck teamwork, we're just gonna go on our own rampage on our own, whatever. So then the old Rangers decide, okay, maybe we should help them get their powers back. So they go to a warehouse in quote-unquote
yes.
Angel
Oh
Grove,
yeah.
and they pull Alpha 6 out of the fucking store.
Well, that's not how that makes sense. Shouldn't he be on Illinois?
I
They
mean-
had him in a fucking box.
He should.
I don't blame Adam. I would have fucking put Alpha 6 into a box long
Shouldn't
ago.
Alpha 6 be on Miranoi?
Who cares? Put him in a fucking box.
Who
Leave him there.
gives a shit?
Leave him in there forever.
See,
You
I
know,
like
they could
like
have actually called in
they didn't-
Andros.
they didn't call
They
him
could have called
Alpha
fucking
5.
Andros and brought Alpha 7 in.
who gives a shit about Alpha
Exactly.
7?
It's called continuity. At least do something.
Who
with
gives
it.
a shit about continuity?
Right. Listen, they used the Alpha 5 costume and called him Alpha 6. I don't think
No,
they gave
that's
a
the
shit.
Alpha 6 costume, and they called him Alpha 6.
Look, they look the same, all right? They
The
just-
lightning
Whatever.
bolt is
They're
very
all
different, and there
they're
were
all
buttons.
the same shit.
It's the same fucking
Are
robot.
we,
Who gives
are we
a shit?
actually arguing semantics right now?
Because you're the one who brought it up.
So we have Alpha 6, who sounds like a bad impression of Alpha 5 because they couldn't afford Richard Horvitz because he was busy doing Billy and Mandy, I guess. Not that I blame him, of course. I would rather be doing that show than Power Rangers. So they have Alpha go into the morphing grid, which, one, how the hell is he able to do that?
Don't worry about it.
Two, why does it look like a shitty CG hangar tunnel with green lightning?
Because it can.
Look, again, we had $4. 3 of them went to Johnny Young Bosch, and about 25 cents went to the morphing grid. Okay?
So Alpha
The rest
just
was on food.
fixes the morphing grid somehow. He just does.
Because he
we
can.
don't see him actually do it. He just does it. And then they get their powers back, and then they kill Zed's kid.
Sentinel
and
Knight
then
does.
The day is saved.
Whatever.
That's right. Then Mac goes rules of nature.
He does. Slices the fuck out of that guy. I don't know how people can be so angry about that scene. That scene's hilarious.
Rules of nature. Oh, dude.
It's not
you guys,
that scene in general. It's just the rest of the two-parter is what people are mad about.
You got to do a re-edit where it's the same Metal Gear Rising music, but instead it's locked and loaded.
See, I don't gotta
No.
do shit.
That's not the song you use when you're cutting a giant thing in half with a
Exactly.
Yeah,
sword.
that's true. Rules of nature. The only reason.
So, and then people got mad about it for some reason because I don't know. What were people so mad about in this special?
Because this was the 15th anniversary special, and it was incredibly lazy and half-assed, and nobody gave a shit.
It was Disney.
Have you seen Megaforce?
I mean, exactly.
Again,
I mean, listen, we didn't know, okay? We didn't know how bad it was going to be.
if only you knew how bad things really were.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But see, again, going into it, I really didn't expect much because it's Disney. They don't care. They didn't care.
Disney doesn't really care about their television departments. They only really care about their movies and their theme parks. That's it.
Exactly. So I was not expecting anything from this
And
special.
I've said this in the past, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again. I really wish that they had actually put some effort into Power Rangers because, again, I said it before. Oh, the girls have the princess line. We got to market towards the boys. You have a perfect marketing strategy at that point. The kids love Power Rangers. Even girls love Power Rangers. You could have done something with it. But no, we got to wait till Marvel comes into that. Oh, we're going to sell them. And hey, look at that Marvel. Now that we got the thing. Oh, forget Power Rangers.
Listen, Phil. The explanation is that Disney never gave a shit about Power Rangers. They bought it because otherwise they couldn't get Digimon, and then they ran Digimon into the dirt, and then Digimon had been dormant for like 15 years.
Wait, how did they run Digimon to the dirt? I thought it stopped.
That's
after
a story
10
for
years.
another time.
That's story for another episode when we finally talk about Ultraman God.
Oh my
Whatever, I
God.
don't know.
So, there's really nothing else to talk about.
That's No, not really. Let me take a look here at my notes. What did I not bring up?
You guys wrote notes. I just binged it before work.
I'll at least give the show this. The fight scenes, the American footage is actually really well done.
Dude, I love that
was-
that final fight scene in the mansion. That was actually really fun.
That actually was good.
There's a lot of use of like wire fu and like actual practical effects for the most part. Whenever they do CG, it looks like shit, especially compared to the Bokenger footage.
Yeah, but
which, speaking of the
Go on.
Bokenger footage, good God, they did the worst fucking job on compression.
I said it in
Exactly.
the server. The fact that I can't tell whether this is Bokenger footage or Jetman footage should really tell you how bad this is.
So quick explanation. Bokenger was the first Sentai to be shot in HD, shot at 16:9, broadcasted in 16:9. Power Rangers was not shot or broadcasted in 16:9 until, like, Samurai. America really hadn't adopted 16:9 as a format yet, so Disney had to very, very poorly compressed the footage down to fit into 4:3, and they did the shittiest job they possibly could, because it is very jarring where you can see the aspect ratio just shift constantly. It is just bad. It's distracting.
It is, especially like, so there's points where because usually, they'll hop between original and American footage, and when they do it in this show, especially when they do it as often as they do, it's bad. Like, wow, my eyes could not fucking like get used to how grainy some of these shots were. I'm just like, dude, can you just like a fucking couple more seconds in the fucking room, dude? Like, really?
Yeah,
it got really bad.
I can't stand all the, well, in the fandom it's called cow explosions. I hate all those background explosions.
I
it
really
doesn't
didn't
make
mind them
sense.
because they were just explosions.
They don't make
welcome
sense.
to Tokusatsu, Phil.
Yeah, but at least when Toku does it, it's
No,
more
they
of an
don't.
area of effect thing, not actual trying to kill somebody.
You obviously did not watch X8.
I did watch X8. At least with X8, it made sense.
No, it didn't.
Yes,
Phil,
it
they're
did.
just explosions. Like, there's really no reason to be upset about. They're just explosions. They're just explosions.
I hate. No, it's the slow motion back explosions. I hate those things so much. See, at least with X8, it makes sense because it's a fucking video game, but not this.
I just don't see what the big deal about them is, dude. They're just explosions. They're not Rose having nothing to do. They're not fucking Hartford going all out on Will, just firing him for no real reason. They're just explosions, Phil. That's all they are. You know, like, I didn't really notice them. They're just there.
That was the same thing with me in the aspect ratio stuff. I didn't
Bless
notice
you.
that. Bless you.
But see, with the aspect ratio, it was way more noticeable because of how much grain there was on the footage. Like Jay can tell you himself. Like, there was like visual grain and fucking.
Oh yeah.
Like he said, Bokenji was filmed in HD.
Was it? Because
You might want to fix your eyes, dude.
I mean, I've
If
watched
you
both.
can't
I've
tell,
watched
you
both.
might want to fix those eyes.
No. It's not that I can't tell. It's that I've watched Bokenger. I've watched Bokenger, though. Then again, that might have been the format and how I watched it might have been different. I don't know. Again, it's been a while. It's been like 4 years since I've seen Bokenger.
I mean, again, it depends on like where you downloaded them from, but yeah, that
No, this was back when I could watch them on Facebook.
So then there's a reason why they probably look that bad.
I'll if we ever cover Bokenger again, I'll cover Bokenger. I'll watch it. I'll watch it through the torrent and see what it's like. But honestly, I mean, I could tell which one was the Sentai footage and which one wasn't.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, what else is there really to talk about? I mean, we kind of went through everything.
That's pretty much everything major, yeah.
So let's go with our final thoughts, and I want to start because, so watching this show, going into it, everybody and their mothers, and people of that nature would be like, "Oh my God, it's OMG, it's the worst show on television. It made Hitler look like a saint. Oh my God, oh Lightbringer." So yeah, I can see people, they.
It's I, the Lightbringer.
Did you learn your lesson?
There he is. Don't get him out of here. Don't give him his jacket back.
You guys do realize we're gonna get the ire of that department.
Oh, fucking who cares?
Oh, the ire of what? The fucking 4 people of his fan base on the short bus? I don't give a fuck. Anyways.
What are they gonna do? Are they gonna run me over with their mobility scooter or something? Jesus.
They're gonna run me over with their mopeds.
Wait, why did he?
Oh no, they're gonna run me over. They're gonna throw their
fail to
hats
set
at me. Anyways, so like I was saying,
they're gonna fail to set a comic on fire in front of me. Whatever.
So as I was saying, so I went into this show thinking it was the most worst thing in the world ever. It's not. It really isn't. Like, guys, I'll be completely honest. Ghost is worse than this. Zeo is worse than this. This is not the worst thing I have ever seen in my entire life. It was not insulting. It was not anger-inducing. If anything, I watched most of the show with apathy. Like, half of the time when I was paying attention, I was just like, well, what's happening? It's certainly happening. It's not even, like, boring, like Ginga, where I'm just, like, asleep. Because there's things in the show that I find interesting. There's things in the show where I'm just like, you know what? If you had taken this stuff and taken it to, I don't know, something else, like something better, I could see that working way more. Like, the stuff with Mac and his father, I think, you know what? And I know because we just had a series like this. If you put that in Ninja Steel, I think it would fit really well. Because if I remember correctly, Ninja Steel had something about that. And, like, I just don't think it's that bad. Like, it's bad. Like, I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to say it's good. But I've seen worse. I wouldn't even say this is, like... I wouldn't even say it's, like, under Kiva at this point. And Kiva's like that show where it's bad, where it's not that bad. It's like, I wouldn't even say it's under Kiva. It's like right at Kiva, maybe right under Wizard, somewhere around there. Like, if I'm putting it towards like shows that I've watched in Writer, or like where Kiva and Ginga are, somewhere around there. It's a show that people say is a Z, but really it's just an F. Like, I think it's really been, I hate to say it, overrated in its disgusting awfulness. I've seen worse. I have seen way worse. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't you fucking twist my words. Would not recommend this show. But it's not the worst thing I have ever seen, ever. That's just me. Jay, you go.
This is definitely the worst Power Rangers show that I've sat through all the way. There are definitely worse seasons, but I haven't bothered to sit through all of them because I have better things to do. I think people whose only frame of reference is Power Rangers definitely like hype up how bad it is, and don't get me wrong, it is exactly as bad as a lot of these people say, but it's definitely not nearly as bad as a lot of the other things we've done on this show. I mean, I didn't have to drink to get through this show. That says a lot about it. But it is definitely... The thing is that there's so few things to praise about the show that didn't just come straight from Bokenger, so what few praises there are relatively faint praises. The rest of the show is just either nothing or bad, but it's not like bad where I get mad at it. It's just it exists. And I felt my time was wasted. I would have preferred to do literally anything else, even a show that is worse in comparison, because then I would have had something to complain about. Here it is it's just boring. It's just boring kind of bad. There's enough good things where I am not miserable. I'm still miserable watching it, but there are at least things that I can point out and say, okay, the show did this right. It is not a complete disaster.
And the last one on the list here is Feel.
This was not the worst Power Rangers I've seen. It's certainly not as bad as Megaforce. Watching it, I basically was just like, meh, it's at least doing something. It's bad, but it's doing something. I mean, there were times where I got a laugh out of it. There were times where I got a chuckle here or there, but it was basically boring. And I binged it in 3 days. We binged this really fast. That's another thing. For 32 episodes, we binged
because we didn't have to pay attention to the subs.
Exactly. Then again,
I could actually, work on other things other than listening to this show.
Then again, the episodes did drag. That's the problem with it. The pacing is not good. It's got faults, and you know what? No. I know that there are people out there that do enjoy this season, and more power to you. I've heard people say it's not as bad as people write it off to be, and I have to agree. It's not terrible, but that doesn't mean it's good.
Again, it's from a purely objective standpoint, it is a bad show. It's just I think people have overstated its awfulness, and again, like Jay said, like Phil said, I didn't see it. Again, it's bad, but I didn't see it. It's whatever. It's a bad Power Rangers show. Maybe when we get to Megaforce, I'll be angrier if we ever do Megaforce.
Again.
Did we do Megaforce?
No.
We did Super Megaforce like a million years ago, and it was awful.
Do you think I remember?
I don't remember.
Look, anything
you forget that we do a
Look,
lot of
anything
episodes,
pre-Podbean
okay?
is not canon.
Is that why they're not on the page anymore?
Fair.
They're unlisted, but there's a list with them there.
That was pre-crisis.
Yes, this is post-crisis.
So I guess our Axel commentary is no longer canon.
No, that was post-Podbean.
No, that's part of Hypertime podcast canon. So that's still kind of, but not really. Listen, none of us are ready for a conversation about Hypertime.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're not going to go for it any further
Again,
than this.
It's gonna be a thing. Anything pre-Podbean is not canon. That's why I was saying the other day we're basically going to redo all of these anyways. So
of the Power Ranger shows that we've done that still exist in this continuity, it's definitely the worst one we've done, but it's not like the worst show we've ever done.
You have
at
to do
all.
Jungle Fury again then.
that's fine.
We never even did.
We did it
Jungle Fury.
once, but again,
With
that's pre-Podbean.
With TJ.
That was before I was even
Exactly.
on the
that
show.
was with you.
No.
It with you?
It was with Jess.
I didn't do Jungle
yeah,
Fury.
That's right. Jess was there.
Ah, that hurt. That hurt my throat. I gotta stop doing that.
Again, maybe when we get to Megaforce, I'll be a little angry. But trust me, we've done worse. We've done way worse.
Well, speaking of angry,
Oh,
let's
boy.
I can't do another binge. I cannot do another binge episode. Binge session.
Oh no, Beetleborgs. No,
That's
actually,
not even on YouTube. That's not even on Netflix anymore.
no, it's not. No, honestly, if it was Beetleborgs, I'd shoot. That's like what 50-something episodes.
the evil is defeated.
Beetleborgs is like what 50-something episodes.
We would only cover the Shadow.
There are
Borg
2
arc.
seasons of Beetleborgs, and they're both like
Oh,
40
eat
episodes.
my ass, dude.
Could we just, if we ever did that, could we just cover the Shadow Borg arc and be done with
No,
it?
because that's not fair.
No,
Because that would be like saying,
because we tried that last time. We had to do Beetleborgs, and nobody cared. So we have to do the whole thing this time.
that, and it would not be fair to judge the show on one quote unquote good arc.
Oh no, that wasn't even.
Listen,
a good arc
I
either.
want to see. I want to get mad at the John Person crossover. Okay,
the Jan Person.
so we might as well. Yes.
All right.
Okay, first off, that,
Yes, he shows up in
first off,
Beetleborgs.
that Shadowborg arc, the kid that they got for the white Beetleborg, he was terrible.
It's almost like kid actors in Tokusatsu are fucking garbage.
I mean, I would have preferred the one they got in Actually, wait, no, that wasn't Reuben Langdon. He was another character in Bee Fighter.
You know, the only thing the
God,
only
isn't it weird how every single character from Devil May Cry was on a Tokusatsu show?
huh? You're right. Well done.
Or what about how freaking Blake Foster was in a fucking Casper movie?
Well, nobody really cares about Blake Foster
Who?
anymore.
I don't even know who that is.
Blue Turbo.
Oh, right, yeah, that
Nobody
asshole.
cares about him anymore because
Yeah,
he said mean things.
Yeah, remember there was a time where Saban actually made 2 Casper movies that were supposed to be sequels to the 95 movie, but they didn't even run in the same fucking continuity?
Dude, Saban made a lot of weird shit in the 90s, all right? They made the Spider-Man show. They did, I think, did they do X-Men?
They made a
Yes, they
fucking
did, I think.
They made a fucking adaptation of the
Well, I guess it makes sense because they did Spider-Man, so I guess it made sense that they would do
They
X-Men.
did the
I
fucking
just don't
Phantom
remember.
of the Opera with freaking Charles Dance as the Phantom.
Oh, no.
What? Oh no! No! I don't like this sign.
Hold on, I gotta copy and I gotta paste.
No. Oh God, is it what I think it is?
Well, luckily for you, it's only 3,500 episodes. No, I'm just kidding. It's only 39, but this was one that somebody posted that I am glad they posted because I've been wanting to do this for fucking years now because it puts two of my favorite things together.
Is it Tomoko Fire Rescue?
I'm not even gonna humor that.
I don't know. I got tired of waiting to do monkey noises.
So it mixes tokusatsu and wrestling.
Oh no!
We're doing some Lucha Underground, boy.
Oh boy!
I am so fucking hyped for this. I am so hyped for this. You have no idea. So, from what anybody who doesn't know, Lucha Underground it was a weekly show back in the well, not back in the day. It was like 2014 was the first season. I think the last one was in 2019. I think. So it's basically a show that it's a wrestling show that is basically a telenovela, but wrestling in it. So it's essentially just a tokusatsu show.
So regular.
It's a
wrestling,
tokusatsu
then.
show essentially.
So it's like Kuga-esque tokusatsu.
Yes, but with wrestling, and I am so fucking hyped we're gonna do this.
I don't know if I can do this one because I know nothing of wrestling.
Well, you don't have to. At least not with this one, because think of it this way: it's essentially just a superhero show with the fights being wrestling matches.
All right.
I am fucking hyped for this, dude. This is gonna be great.
Well, how are we going to find it?
Don't worry, I'll get it.
Will you get
Don't
and
worry.
safely?
No.
Nothing in this world is safe. I'm pretty sure. I think if I remember correctly, there's a torrent for it somewhere, and if not, we'll just.
That's
You know what? Real quick, Phil, just for you, I'm going to make sure. Jesus bless you.
Take a wild guess on what I found the other day.
These nuts.
No,
a gun?
I found I found the entire run of
used
Mystic
condom?
Knights of Tir na Nog.
Oh yeah,
Hey, I
that's
don't
on
know.
YouTube.
Don't say it out loud, then it's gonna go away.
It's
We
on
have to cover that
YouTube.
one day.
Listen, Phil. Even Saban doesn't care enough about protecting the copyright on Mystic
They
Knights of
don't.
Tir na
Can
Nog,
we
okay?
actually like cover that one day?
I mean, how
Eventually.
long is it?
Like 30 episodes, I think.
Let me look this up. I'm gonna look it up because I don't believe you.
Tir na Nog.
There's 2 seasons.
Nights.
No, there's one season.
There's
they
one
were gonna make
season, and it is. You can go fuck yourself, Phil. I'm not watching 50 episodes of that.
Wait, it's 50? I thought it was 30.
I'm not watching that. Fuck you.
You do know one day we're gonna have to do it.
You know, one day I don't have to do shit.
Somebody's gonna put it on the list after hearing this.
Well, they can put
I
it
think it's
whatever they
already
want
on
on the
the
list.
list.
They can put whatever they want on the list. So yeah, there is a torrent to it. I'll do that. I'll double check to see if it's all on the up and up, and we'll see from there.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm excited. 39 episodes of wrestling, an actual story-based wrestling. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
So, oh my god, don't don't remind me of that video. It kills me every time. So that being said,
Dallas, salad.
I guess that's it for this week's episode. So as always, I am Agent That Is Phil.
Goodbye, everybody. I am hungry.
That's Jay.
Oh,
You have just been having a time with your fucking allergies today.
oh yeah.
That is going to be some editing. So yeah, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.